Welcome to Not Just Ads, the show where B2B brands discover how creator-led content drives pipeline, builds trust, and grows long-term brand equity. Each episode, we speak with business leaders, founders, and creators who are defining their categories. I'm your host, Marcus Sherwin, and this is the Creator Economy for B2B. Hello and welcome today to Not Just Ads, the Creator Economy for B2B. Today I'm delighted to be joined by Costas Yennis. Costas has a seasoned career in GTM engineering. He spent a number of years in Holded, a fast-growing SaaS company based out of Barcelona. He's recently joined ChiliPiper, which is based in the US. He leads as VP of GTM engineering there. He's a wealth of experience in the space, the ever fast moving space and growing space that it is. So I'm really looking forward to getting into the conversation with him today. Costas, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Marcus.
Great. Let's take a step back. You were in Holded for a number of years, and I've had like a look on your background, and you share a lot of content around what you see as tools working well in the GTM space. But if you're to go back to when you first started in Holded versus what's available now, what are the big changes that you've seen over the last number of years in the GTM space?
I think, first of all, it's exciting times to live, like in the GTM space and the marketing space, and even maybe some people disagree, like even the sales and support space. Like it's the first time that we have so much capabilities to reach more people and give value. And I put the reach more people and give value together, because reaching more people is not always value if you end up spamming them, right? So like I think I'm a weird hybrid. Like people will say that I'm the person that would like to try the last innovation and adopt it first, but also I have like the traditional base on things like that still work. I don't know. I love speaking about in a conversation about the latest AI signals that you can use, but then I'll go in the morning and read some advertising biology, like some old traditional marketing techniques and like traditional copywriting, because I think the base doesn't change. It's like the base is there, like the basics of how you promote something, how you sell something, how you make a human connection. It's still the base, and then AI and all these new technologies amplify this. And the ones that will get it correct is the ones that they combine these two. I really believe. So yeah, I think it's great times, challenging also to see how we don't go crazy around it and we do it the right way. But yeah, definitely exciting times.
Yeah, it is. I think it's really interesting what you mentioned there as well about like kind of the things that still work. And from when you look at it, like you mentioned about reading, say, copywriting, was it that you mentioned about marketing and copywriting and stuff, and the fundamentals are still the same. Do you think that now with the way that we can kind of like hyper automation, that sometimes if it's done wrong, it kind of drowns out those fundamentals to some extent? Like that there's some organizations that are leaning very heavily on the tech stack, the automation bit, but the fundamentals and the foundation are not really become a priority, and that's kind of like created a lot of noise.
I mean, like just having a look in LinkedIn, either in your inbox or on even in the feed, like you see like ton of content and ton of messages being massively generated. Yeah, sure. Like they can be, there's like times that you can get it right and you personalize it at scale with really delivering a message like personalized to the person, saying, hey, Costas, I see that you joined the new role, and I guess your first days must be challenging. I know the company, I've done my research, and then I really think that I could help you with this. 1, 2, 3. That could be something like genuinely useful sometimes to save time, like the back and forth, and like let's have a call, just to open and make like the call more relevant. But then I think like in a lot of companies I talk to, I see that there's a pressure from top down. Like all CEOs around the globe are like saying, you have to be 10x more productive. You have to use AI in everything. So you see like sales people, people in customer support, you see people in marketing trying to really be more. And by be more and be more productive, a lot of times we confuse it with just more content, more messages, and sometimes we just miss the substance. Like, okay, what are you? It doesn't mean you're making 50 calls before. Now you should do 500. It's humanly impossible. Yeah, you have auto dialers and these great technologies that can help us. But if you cannot amplify the result you're getting, I mean, maybe you can have this same 50 calls, but with the use of AI, you can research 100 times better every call before having it.
Yeah.
So you actually, when you end up from 50 calls having those 10 ones, you can be more close to the situation of the person on the other line, because we're always talking to people on the other side of the phone. So is this thing that I think like the people that will get it right is like the people that will be really productive with AI, not just numbers and like be like send more, but like give more value.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I spoke with I don't know if you know Patrick Trumpy. He has a company called Taskbase. He shares a lot of content on LinkedIn. But one really interesting thing he was sharing was about a company. They were like a kind of customer service company, and one of the challenges they had was when the reps would finish the call, they would have to do like kind of say admin, and the admin was taking, let's say it was taking 3 minutes. So he'd really research what the pain point was, because he could see, okay, it takes them 3 minutes. So he rang up the line manager or director, whoever it was, and he was like, I've researched and it was 3 minutes. And then the guy said back to him, yeah, it's 3 minutes, 15 seconds. But this is like an example of like really going really deep in terms of like that kind of research and knowing exactly what the pain point is for that particular ICP. There's a huge amount of value there if you do it right. And AI, I think people that are leaning in that direction are going to get a ton of value out of it. But the people that are optimizing for task output, it's just going to be more noise, it seems like, in the market. And if you're on the receiving end, like what you mentioned as well about like good personalization versus bad, it's just going to get ignored, I would imagine, if it's bad.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go on ahead.
No, I totally like. I've been on the position you just described, like sitting with. I love to be hands-on. I love to sit like next to the salesperson that does the call and see like how they work. And in 2026, we called it, at least we had around 50 salespeople, and I'll sit from time to time next to the people receiving the calls, and we have a great tech stack with some of the top leading tools that's in the market about recording the calls, about tracking the calls, about making the calls. And still, like some people were like they were going back to taking the notes because that's what they care about. Like, it's like every salesperson had their own points that their own set of questions that they will ask. And this is nice, like that they had their own way of talking and making the connection. But on the other side, even with the call being recorded, they were like spending their time just writing the notes. So you will see them that they would not listen actively to the person 100%, and they would just be focused on the notes and also filling the questions of the playbook. And I just like try to understand why, even that the call was recorded and the notes could be like used later, it's how they were used to, or the default output of the notes from the recording system was not to their liking, so they prefer to still take the notes themselves. And it's there where enablement comes in, and like the sales operation is like, okay, guys, what do you need out of this call? What do we need to do with this call? Like, let's configure the tool. The possibilities are there. Like, you can pretty much in any tool nowadays, like they are catching up. Like, you can have the output the way you want it. You can fill it in your CRM automatically or semi-automatically.
Yeah.
But it's just a matter of really adjusting technology to our needs, and not ourselves adjusting to the technology and to the providers that they come out there as like they say, this is how you're working. It's like in every company is different, every person is different. So what we said before, adjusting and using these multipliers in the right way.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because I think some people have that habit of they're either taking notes and they feel that it helps them kind of highlight what's important in the conversation. And then there are other people that feel like if they're doing that, that's a distraction from actually being fully present in the conversation. And I have that conversation with people as well, of yeah, it's an interesting one because I know when people that even know it's recorded, I used to see that in different roles I was in as well, that traditionally I would always take a lot of notes, but then when it's recorded you are fully present, but also to kind of even highlight next actions, it can be handier to just have it written on a piece of paper than just waiting for the recording to come through. Yeah. Maybe for the listeners, I know a lot of people are going to be aware of ChiliPiper, the company, but for people that aren't, could you share a little bit about what ChiliPiper is, what you do, who you serve, where you're active, and so on as well, just for the listeners that are not familiar with the business?
I think it's an interesting story. Like, found out ChiliPiper. I work now at ChiliPiper the last month, but I've been a customer of them like the last 4 years. So I like testing tools, and I really think that if a tool can take you to the next level, either in either side of your
Yep.
operation, and you can be more productive, and it can justify its price, then go for it. So at the time where like we had three teams, like the teams of sales were giving demos to our leads and our prospects. And then we had the onboarding team that was giving onboardings to all the new customers, and the premium onboarding team that was like more for bigger customers and partners. And with the former scheduling solution, we were on HubSpot CRM at the time. We were using like some simple scheduling links. We had some I would not say issues, inefficiencies. Like people will use the same link to book again a meeting with the same salesperson just to get an onboarding. Where like it was holded is a bit to B, which tends to be like B2C volumes because we focus on
Yeah.
freelancers and small companies. So sometimes you don't have like this enterprise, let's say, etiquette that
Yeah.
I'm not gonna use your link again.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely, I'm gonna use your link again. So I started looking at Google at the time. So it was like before ChatGPT, Perplexity, and so on, to recommend me something. And I was looking for like a Calendly on steroids in a way, just a simple scheduling to see how we can improve things. We're moving to Salesforce at the time also, so we're looking how can we improve the efficiency of like the meetings that we're having it with the right people that they need it. The ones that they had it already once at least give space for the rest of the people to have their chance to have a call, and reduce the inefficiency when we are routing leads. We're playing a bit with higher volumes of leads like PLG motion, a lot of trials every day, a lot of chats. So when the lead was coming in, we needed to understand who are the most qualified leads, who are the right fit for us, like in terms of value, like every company out there, who are the high value ones also to either fast track them or and route them to the right team. So ChiliPiper, we found it at the time, so it's helping businesses. At least that was its core, and still I think it's like one of the top tools out there for scheduling and routing. You go to your website, you want to fill a form to request a demo, and then they come back to you some days after when you're already on vacation, and the conversation never happens maybe,
Yeah. Yeah.
or they've been to the competition. So like we're helping companies like reach to like having their people reach at the best way possible, route them to the right person. And over the last year, we also launched like the web experiences and marketing orchestrator that people can also engage more with the people that are on their website, because even if we like it or not, the website is like the storefront of any online company. So making sure that, hey, do you need some help? Making sure that we answer their questions, making sure that the people that they came but they rushed out, if you have a way to engage with them, that's where we come to help companies.
Gotcha. So, if for the listeners then to understand, so what the value add of what you could see in ChiliPiper was essentially, traditionally speaking, a calendarly link or something. It's booking on somebody's individual calendar based on whoever the lead is, whoever's reached out, whoever they're mapped to. Whereas from ChiliPiper, the lead is routed based on the availability, based on the quality, or whatever kind of like prerequisites you put before, and then it's routed immediately. So if somebody's out on holidays, if this lead is like an urgent request of demo, it's likely to close. You can kind of put in those prerequisites, and then overall, obviously, that increases the overall lead to sale percentage. Is that right?
That is correct. Yeah.
Okay.
If I may there, I think it's
Yeah.
like now that we discussed it before, maybe like on features and tools. A lot of times, like yeah, like someone will say like scheduling solution or routing
Mm-hmm.
solution. And yeah, sure, like there's like a lot of great solutions out there that you can schedule meetings, and also nowadays you can write code one. Go ahead and do it. It's not hard. The
Yeah.
challenge is like when and how like do you touch and you influence some operational numbers. So you've booked like 100 demos this month. Great. How many of them did show up? Did they forget about it? Did they receive the right reminders on the right channels at the right time? Did people double book you? Did they reschedule a couple of times? So just putting these numbers into the equation, and my engineering background is not allowing me not to have my Excels and calculate these things. Like if you book 100 demos, but then 30 of them didn't show up or
Yeah.
rescheduled or double booked, it's like a 30% inefficiency. It's like maybe it's 2-3 employees,
Yeah.
is equivalent to 2 or 3 employees, and the SDRs behind them if you didn't have a correct way to qualify and route them correctly. So suddenly, a team that wants to book 100 meetings in a month, if they have just a form with no routing, with no qualification, and they do this back and forth with the emails, they're up to 50% more inefficient.
Yeah.
So it's always the numbers and like what you get the solution to do for you. What's your job to be done for the solution?
Yeah, and I guess as well, the more steps that the user has to go through, the more chances that they're going to drop off. Like the more the less probability of success as well. Yeah, I remember a couple of years ago I was working with a company called WalkMe. They were acquired by SAS, but they used to use ChiliPiper. That's where I first heard about ChiliPiper. It's probably about maybe 5 years ago now, and I was working in LinkedIn, and we were managing their. They were a client, and they would always talk about the quality of the leads with ChiliPiper because they were running a lot of lead gen stuff at the time. But they were big fans of the tool, and then I'd heard about them. But I'm also connected with the CEO Alina on LinkedIn, and that's the next thing I'd actually like to talk to you is around kind of like the founder-led story. And I think it's her and her husband. No, are they co-founders of the company? Um, but maybe you could share as well a little bit about like they have a really active presence on LinkedIn. They share a lot what's going on in the company, how the growth is. I think it's more than 10 years old, no? The company, maybe more, I'm not sure. But yeah, from how does that look like from the inside then, from like kind of this building in public, what we see? When you look at marketing, and you mentioned as well like that your role now encompasses some of that also, how does that look like from a GTM point of view of that founders kind of leading the brand, and how that kind of grows and builds more market share for you as well?
I think it's one also of the reasons like I joined the company. I think both of the founders, Alina and Nicolas, are very much invested in the product and passionate about what they're building. And I mean it really genuinely. It's not just like okay, LinkedIn sells, like let's get a personal branding expert and like let's start just throwing
Yeah.
content at LinkedIn just to sell.
You can
It's
always spot the
genuinely,
difference though, can't you? The people that are doing it versus the people that it's manufactured. I think anyway, that like,
I
and
think you
there I think
can,
it's
yeah.
authentic.
Absolutely. I think you can. And they're really passionate about building, like you see them every day invested, like, okay, what's this new solution that we can give to our customers? I don't know. And by the time this goes live, I'm not sure, maybe we're already there, but in beginning of May, we're making our own conference in the desert in
Nice.
ChiliPalooza in New Mexico City. And we're inviting customers and prospects and experts in the area just to talk about innovation, and we're asking our people what are the problems that you see, like what did you build with AI yourself to optimize your operations, how can we help you there, not just to sell you more but to help you more, so this is like genuinely as you said, like you can notice the difference. but it's also what I think makes a difference in great products. Also, the previous company that I was like, both of the founders were really living the pain of like the SMB and the freelancer every day, and then they were trying to build something great for them. So I think nowadays it's very important that the people that they lead the companies really feel the pain, and they try to help in the best way possible, and especially if they catch up with technology and they're in the space, they will be something that is still relevant for the years to come.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's one of the things that is fundamental, like what you were mentioning at the start, the things that still work. I think if the closer that you are with the customer and the pain point, the better you understand who you're building for, and how it's going to actually address the challenge of what they're trying to overcome. You mentioned there about vibe coding. What do you see from being a practitioner of you've tested? I had a look before we had this call. You've tested over 500 tools over the years. Now vibe coding's come along, so this must be like a field day for you, because you can kind of go, all those ideas I can put them to action very fast. But from vibe coding, if you're taking on something onto a stack and you are looking onto an existing stack, what would you be cautious of like looking at something that's vibe coded? Do you think there's any limitations to like vibe coding, or should be purely treated as vibe coding as a use should be something to get an MVP active, and then seeing if you're going to put the dev team and actually bring it out, like to build something sustainable and solid?
Trying to see how to set it around. For example, like the 500 tools that I write on my description is not fluff. There's like I could say like a million tools or 1,000 tools. Actually, like early this year, I was just playing with Claude, like everyone else, and I wanted to clean up my email. My email was a mess. So I asked it to create a categorization for the emails. Yeah, there were like different solutions. Just for the fun of it, I created my own email client and categorized the emails, and I had like 500, around 500 providers that I did like demos or like the tested tools. And then I said, okay, like I can evolve this, and like I can every day show me the important emails. And for my usage, it's great because I don't know, I configure it the way I want it. It will play music that I would normally listen like a radio, and then it will show me a motivational quote every day. So for some weeks, it was like the way I was working. It's like I was just opening up my vibe coded app for me the way I liked it. I didn't think about the cost as much, but it was something that was personalized for my liking, for my needs. Did I continue to use it? Actually, not really, or not to the daily frequency I was expecting to, because like the world is changing. Like you have Claude connected to the different systems. You can ask more information, and some things are becoming obsolete before we can even vibe code them. So I think it is useful to create internal tools that is tied to the company operation, and we did a bunch of them at Holded, a bunch of them also at ChiliPiper. We keep testing. You want to calculate the bonus for your sales team, that you created it in a very specific way in Spain, and for the different teams. Vibe coded. It's like like you can do it on Excel. You can also make it like in a fancier way and a more sustainable way, and you can use it because let's admit it. Like most of the software and the SaaS companies out there, they build a more or less generic approach of the product that could fit like a lot of companies at once.
Yeah.
Then there's like some that they can allow you to customize, and like they put it as open source, or you can have like your engineers and partners, design partners to customize it. But for some small use cases, like or big sometimes, you can definitely vibe code your custom solution for your needs. Then I think people have to be cautious that what are we touching? Do we deeply understand what are we building? For example, I heard the other day someone on LinkedIn was trying to build for their company, turn the email marketing tool, let's say, and build their own one. But they wouldn't even understand the basics of like, okay, what is like with the spam rates, the categorization of where an email lands? What about security? Yes, sure. Like it's a wow effect that anyone can build the interface and some of the functionality, maybe all the functionality, but we have to be cautious of like what are we missing? If, like a
Yeah.
lot of people are coming up and they say we can save $1,000 every month from our company, and they expect that they will get promoted and they will get those €1,000 because we built this solution that is now doing like the emails, but they don't really understand that every email that you are sending, when someone was clicking it, like the software that you're using was also using it to identify the return back to the page. And for people in the ad space, they know that this is like a very valuable information to have. And maybe you're saving €1,000 from the tool that you've been paying, but if you're spending like more than 100K a month on ads, the loss that you have from this functionality might be like €20,000 because you don't have like the conversion signals that you need. So I'll say this: like build what you understand deeply and what you can customize to your needs if needed. But you need to understand what you're building. Like what is the problem that you're trying to solve? What is the numbers that you're trying to move? And not just okay, let's replace this tool because we're saving money.
Yeah. I think as well, from talking with different people, I've a friend that's a CTO in an AI startup here in Madrid, and he was talking about like using agents. They've like a ton of agents that are doing different tasks and stuff. And two things what he said to me that stood out. One was he's like, I'm working way more than I was pre AI in other companies. And the other thing is that you get it done and it gets between about 85 to 90% done, but then you do require some coding skills, and it's like what you say, it's that there's other implications that when it comes back, it's not 100% perfect. The compounding output is significantly big, but to get it up to that 100% to what it is, it requires some time and some tweaking and so on. So his kind of approach now is like having really defined the inputs initially from Go, and even when you have that, you still have those small gaps at the end. So it's definitely changed how things are, and I even doing some projects and stuff on Cloud Code myself. I find it's really good for doing research, but like what you say, even building like basic landing pages and stuff like that, the output sometimes is very different than what you have imagined, and you're kind of continuing to prompt and stuff. But yeah, no, it's democratized it to a lot, I guess, as well. For a lot of people. For your role now in ChiliPiper, what are you thinking of in terms of like GTM is such a broad term, and you know there's the options are huge in terms of like the tech stack and stuff that you can use, but like when you're thinking of your strategy over the next, I don't know, say 6 to 9 months or over the next year, what in your opinion does like a really successful GTM team that's like a core of the business, what does it look like in your opinion, from the strategy point of view, but from also when they think about the tech and how that lands into the overall business goals as well?
I think what we said a bit in the beginning, that understanding very well your product, what you're selling, understanding your customer. Like I joined, and most of my first days I spent on like conducting existing customers. I was a
Yep.
customer of a specific segment for the
Yep.
company, but I was not aware of how a huge enterprise is using it, and what are the benefits, what are the challenges they have. So I think like first, I always think that understanding what you're selling, who is it for, and it might
Yep.
sound like marketing fluff, yeah, get your ICP and this. It's crucial.
Yeah.
If you know what you're selling, what is working well, what is not working, for who is not working, asking, creating also these connections can be really helpful. And then getting this knowledge, understanding how you can sell it. I think anyone in the company that wants to do GTM needs to be good at selling, needs to be good at making a connection with a person, and genuinely being able to offer something that is not just for reaching a quota. It's like, okay, you have other solutions. And I have people saying like, yeah, I will definitely say to someone, vibe code your own scheduling solution. If what you want to do is just scheduling and this is what you want to do, and I don't see any fit for what we offer. Um, but then getting these principles and then amplifying them with AI. I keep repeating myself that AI is an amplifier, is a multiplier, and it amplifies the good things and the bad things. So like if you know how to speak to one customer, and you can understand them, maybe you can speak to 100 customers and 10 times better having the data and the research around them and understanding what other similar customers are experiencing. So I think that's crucial. And then it's like understanding the channels and how the channels are changing. Most of companies over the last year, I think they've lost 20-30% of their SEO traffic because people are also going to the LLMs, like they have the AEO now, and everyone's trying to optimize around AEO, which is pretty new. Like even the tracking tools are pretty new. Everyone is getting you different answers. And then how you show up there, it still depends on some of the traditional SEO techniques, for example, but also you have to be a bit up to date and find other ways to show up in a valuable way there. Then the LinkedIn, social media, Instagram, even TikTok being flooded by AI content. A lot of people are thinking about we see like create AI bots creating content, AI bots actually consuming and commenting this content, and AI bots reply. So how do you cut through the noise and really get to the person that it's consuming maybe 100 times more content now? So like you really need to stand out. Just posting a generic graphic for your ad will not make it because like there's so much more content now. The channels are changing, so you need to see how we adapt. And I think the most challenging part is also rethinking that, okay, what we had before, this also has changed. Like the reality that we had before, that you need to answer from your computer with a keyboard and a mouse, which was the interface that most of us were working with the last years, like the last century maybe, is changing also. Like you can speak to a bot and it can make your finances without opening a computer because it's smart enough now. Like there's a new paradigm shift. Like you have AI native applications that they don't need to be evaluated. They're just available for you and you just speak to them through your phone. People need to have like always this in mind that what we have, the box that we had disappeared. There's no outside the box. There's no box nowadays. So we need to rethink how we do marketing, how we do sales, how to go to the market. And I think that's a challenge that led to this evolution to this role. It used to be growth roles, growth hackers, growth managers, like 10 years ago. I used to have a growth role, and it was because all the startups and all the SaaS companies were being valuated around growth. Then like the crisis happened, like the valuations changed to revenue, and then we became RevOps, revenue operations. We need to optimize around more revenue. And now the challenge that anyone can have a product, the challenge is actually taking your product to the market. And now it's GTM and the engineering part that's like, you can also engineer it and automate like a lot of big part of it. So that's in a nutshell, like I think what I see like things moving like, and I think maybe then let's say how the future will evolve.
Yeah, you make a very good point there about the transition in terms of like growth marketing, growth hacker, and now in RevOps and now GTM engineering, and it's true. That's definitely those kind of titles and roles, and the needs of the role as well is probably shaped by what the market is and where the market has evolved as well. When you look now at like tech stacks and stuff, what kind of tools do you find? Maybe we'll have like a rapid fire couple of questions just really fast, but we talked about automation. I'd love to get your feedback on some tools that are becoming very popular in the market, but I think people probably hear more than they actually use them, and they are powerful. Like for example, Clay. Do you find useful tool, very well marketed, but I hear mixed reports about it. I'd love to get your feedback of what you think.
I think the moment you asked the question, I was going to say in my mind was coming Clay and then OpenClaw. I'm a big fan of Clay and OpenClaw myself. Like I like maybe I use Clay every day for different things, and it has evolved a lot. But I think I've listened and I've read like on LinkedIn more people speaking about it, the same with OpenClaw, and actually using it and
Yeah,
understanding
that's
it.
what I mean. Yep. Yeah.
It became such a buzzword, like, oh, Clay, GTM engineering. Actually, they were the ones that kind of created the term, I guess. But a lot of people, like, and even in meetings, yeah, we use Clay. It's like, what do you use it for? And like, sometimes it will be a glorified spreadsheet. Sometimes it will be like an agency that showed up and say, we can help you use Clay so you can look cool to your boss. They took like a lot of money out of their pockets to test something, spam a lot of people on LinkedIn by using five tools probably, but Clay was like the one showing up. And the same is happening now also with OpenClaw and some. It's like, okay, we use OpenClaw, and how do you use it? Yeah, we set it up, and it's, I don't know, we're talking to it through Telegram, and what are you getting out of it? So I think it's like it's always understanding what the solution is offering. Do you have the problem that they're trying to solve? Most probably you do. Most
Yeah.
probably it's not a problem. It's just like an opportunity. Evaluate, understand it. The same we said with vibe coding. Understand the basics. Understand what you're trying to do. How would you do it in a traditional way, and how would this tool help you do it better? It's the same like any other tool. Like we could collect potatoes out of the fields ourselves. 10 people will collect the same potatoes as a tractor will do today.
Yeah.
Tractor is a multiplier. Has
Yeah.
always been like all the tools have been multipliers, but if you don't understand what you want to collect,
Exactly, and it's like if you're just collecting for your dinner and you have four people over, does it make sense to go and get a tractor to collect the potatoes? And
spot on.
I think that's one of the key points that you mentioned, and it's very true that sometimes the clay open claw, they're great if you're doing something at scale like in your role, but I think smaller organizations that don't necessarily have the need but that want to seem that they're cutting edge and that they're at the forefront of whatever new tool is, they feel that they should get involved in clay, but sometimes maybe these tools don't make sense depending on what stage of growth that you're at.
hmm I think I don't know. I don't want to snob anyone. I think like anyone can get like the tools is I like testing tools. Like, and I think is you we one of the best advice I ever got was like try to be ready before you need something. So a
Yeah.
lot of times I'll test tools before I need them, or I don't know. I tested voice agents, like, and
Yep.
we're having a webinar today about it. 2 years ago, they were not at a humanly usable level, but I kept looking at it. I kept like testing every 6 months, like a voice agent, how it will look. So the moment that the voice agents came to a level that they were acceptable to be used on an emergency at least, I was ready because I already knew like what was needed. So to be curious, test the tools, understand what are they trying to solve, but always try to be thinking like beyond the hype. Am I using this for impressing my boss? Am I using this to impress LinkedIn? Or am I using this to actually solve a pain and give value to my customers? Because we are trying to give value to someone. So that's my 2 cents there.
Yeah. Yeah. Good points. Um, Costas, if anyone wants to find out more about your what you're doing at ChiliPiper, but also where you share content, what you're working on, where are you most active?
LinkedIn, I think I've been more active for the last year. So yeah, you can find me on LinkedIn, drop me a message, note that
Perfect.
sequence, and
Yep.
I'll be happy
Great.
to answer and
And
talk with you.
the event that you mentioned in ChiliPiper, this is going to go out in a couple of weeks, so I'm sure it will have happened by then. But um, will there be? I'm sure you're going to be sharing a ton of content after the event and everything like that. No.
Or not. So you can join to the next event. It's the fun part. It's not a conference. Like, it's like we're
Yeah,
going
yeah.
literally
Serious
in.
FOMO.
So it's like just brainstorming. And I wrote in
Yeah,
one of the posts like, yes, like conferences are great to meet people, and like, yeah, you can get in a presentation. I was
yeah,
yesterday in one. I was like, what am I doing here? Like the information I'm hearing is like reproduce information from AI. So like we're trying to keep
yeah,
it informal, have the
yeah,
conversations of GTM leaders. We invited CMOs, AI enthusiasts, and actually having these conversations that will spark these ideas that then you can take later on and amplify them with the tools and AI that you use. So I think like still human conversations matter, and that's what sparks creativity and new ideas and fun, because we need to have fun.
Definitely, and also the in-person events. I think a design thing we learned from COVID. They're so really crucial for any industry to get people together and enjoy themselves. That's where all the great ideas come from. Yeah. Costas, it was great having you on. I really enjoyed our conversation. Thanks again for joining.
Likewise, Marcus. Thank you for having me.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.